Today we are going to start with a new lesson. Usually, this lesson we start in the second term because most of the chapters that we do in the first term is over. Now, this is a very important chapter, and this chapter is photosynthesis. For standard 10, you can expect one or two questions with lot of short answer type questions and even objective questions from this chapter. So you have to read this chapter, understand the chapter and gain knowledge about this chapter thoroughly. Now, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process by which green plants they prepare food from carbon dioxide and water vapor in presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. The food that is the plant makes is in form of glucose. The formula of glucose is C6H12O6, and in this process the byproducts that are formed, or the products that are formed along with glucose, is water and oxygen. So basically this is the definition. Now photosynthesis, is basically, we called it photosynthesis because photon, this word comes from the word photon, means light. So that means this particular reactions that are involved here in this particular process is involving light. But of course there are two parts of photosynthesis. We have light reactions and we have dark reactions. So dark reaction is a light dependent reaction, but the dark reaction is a light independent reaction. That means it is not that light is required there, it can take place in independent of light. That means it can take place in the daytime as well as in the night. But the light reaction has to take place in the daytime. So we'll come to that in the later stages. Now in photosynthesis, the first thing that we have to know that where it occurs in all green plants. That means it can be algae, okay, it can be bryophytes, it can be in certain protozoans which contain chlorophyll. There it can take place. It can take place also in higher plants like angiosperms and gymnosperms. So you can have in pteridophytes, you can have in bryophytes, you can have in gymnosperms, you can have in angiosperms. Now you know that what are angiosperms? Are flowering tree. Gymnosperms are non-flowering trees without the fruit like cycas and pinus. And you have bryophytes like, for example, mosses, and pteridophytes like ferns, and also many protozoa like euglena also possess your chlorophyll. So they also do photosynthesis. So among the protozoans also there are certain protozoans which do photosynthesis. Now, what is the site of photosynthesis? The site of photosynthesis is the chloroplast. So you have to know about the structure of the chloroplast, because one question comes on the structure of the chloroplast. Now chloroplasts are different, in shape in different types of plants. Like say for example, if you see the chloroplast in Spirogyra, which is an algae, there it is in the form of a spiral shape. They are sometimes ovoid, they are sometimes elliptical, and mostly ellipticals in the plants. Now this chloroplast, as you know, we call them plastids as a whole, because plastids, there are various types of plastids. Like the green colored plastid is called the chloroplast, which is basically involved in photosynthesis. We have leucoplast, like the plastids which store starch found in potatoes. You have chromoplast, like colored plastics, which imparts color to the flowers and in different leaf also, and they contain like different types of pigments like anthocyanin, like carotene, all these different colors. They are so they are called chroma. It comes from the word chroma, means colored plastids. So of course there are amyloplast, like which stores carbohydrates. You have elaioplast, which stores oil droplets. So various types of plastids are there. Now we are going to study about the structure of the chloroplast. Now here I have shown you a chloroplast which is, you can see, almost like an elliptical in shape, and they are made up of two unit membrane. What are those unit membrane? You can see here two lines. Two unit membrane means one membrane is equivalent to one cell membrane. So there are two cell membranes here, and here it is cut out. This is a section of the chloroplast. That means here you can see we have it is cut out and then it is taken. So inside, how do you see? Now what is the structure? This structure is, we call it an electron microscopic structure. You cannot see this with naked eyes, you cannot see with it compound eyes, you can see with electron microscope. And in electron microscope, the shape is not very specific, because a beam of electron that captures the what you call the diagram or the photograph, so naturally it is not very regular. Now here inside this we have some structures. You can see coin like structures, like stacks of coin. Now if you take each coin, then this is called a thylakoid. As I mentioned here, that one stack is a thylakoid. But if we take a collective stack like this, so a number of thylakoids together, we call it a granum. So granum is signifying a stack of thylakoids. Now there are certain structures here which are connecting the each of this granum. This is called the stroma lamellae, or sometimes they are called the fret. So these are the frets which are connecting the granum. And of course, when number of granum together is taken, we call it grana. So grana is a plural of granum. So one stack is called the granum. Each of them is called the thylakoid. Beside this, in the stroma lamellae contains a large amount of protein. So this stroma lamellae is basically made up of various types of enzymes, because in photosynthesis there are two sets of reaction. One reaction is the light reaction. So specifically the light reaction takes place inside these thylakoids. Now what do the thylakoid contain? The thylakoid contains the chlorophyll molecule. So each of these thylakoid structures, which is almost like a, if you see, like a container, and this container contains the chlorophyll molecules inside. So inside this thylakoid, so all these thylakoid, they contain the chlorophyll molecule. So the chlorophyll, wherever the chlorophyll molecule is there, the light reaction takes place. The dark reaction, of course, takes place in the stroma. So I have marked here. So this is the this is what we call the stroma. Inside this stroma, the dark reaction takes place, or what we call the light independent reaction. Beside this, there are certain structures and granules of starch granules can be found, as because after the formation of the glucose is polymerized to form starch grains. So you can find starch grains which are dispersed in the stroma. The chloroplast contains an independent DNA and ribosome. This you have to remember, because a chloroplast is a auto-replicating or self-replicating organelle. What is the meaning? That a chloroplast will not wait for the whole cell to divide to form two chloroplasts from one chloroplast. They can themselves divide with the help of the DNA, which contains the nuclear material, and their own ribosomes which are contained. The ribosomes, of course, is a different sort of ribosome what we have in the prokaryotes, like in the bacteria. So that is not required that much, but you must know about the structure of the chloroplast. Now this chloroplast is contained in the leaf. Where would they contain? Particularly in the leaf, they are contained in the mesophyll cells. In the mesophyll cells, usually there are two types of mesophyll cells. One is called the spongy mesophyll, which is found in the lower epidermis of the leaf. Another is called the palisade parenchyma, which is found in the upper epidermis of the dicot leaf. Usually in dicot plant, you have the mesophyll cells, two types. On the upper surface, that means the abaxial surface, you have the palisade parenchyma, and the lower surface contains the mesophyll cell. But in isobilateral leaf like grasses, there you do not have the palisade parenchyma usually have the spongy mesophyll throughout the leaf. So that is the site. Actually, these are the places, and the mesophyll cells are containing huge number of chloroplasts. So there the photosynthesis takes place. And of course, on the epidermal cell, there is a type of cell called the guard cell. The guard cell is the only epidermal cell which contains the chloroplast. So, on the epidermal cell, guard cell undergoes the process of photosynthesis, and have the process of photosynthesis. Glucose is formed there, and even the opening and closing of the stomata of the guard cell is controlled by the process of formation of glucose in the guard cell. So you can see here, this pictorially I have shown the water comes along the stem, then enters into the veins and the veinlet into the leaf. Where do the sunlight is coming from the upper surface, the sunlight is coming from the sun, and on the whole surface this light, usually about 400 to 700 nanometer. This is the wavelength of the which can activate the chlorophyll which is present in the mesophyll cell. The carbon dioxide is coming from outside, enters through the stomata and diffuses through the cell to the mesophyll cell. And after the formation of glucose, the H2O and the O2 that escapes through the stomata. And glucose, of course, is formed inside the leaf, and glucose is utilized by the plant in the process of respiration. So usually the glucose is accumulated in the leaf, and there this glucose after that is dissipated to the different parts of the plant, to the stem, to the leaf, to the roots. There glucose is oxidized by the process of respiration, and your ATP is generated. Now this is the procedure, how the glucose is dissipated, how it is formed, and what is the need of the glucose, which we will discuss later on. Now another thing which we are going to discuss today is about how the stomata are regulated. The opening and the closing of the stomata is regulated. Now there are two theories. One theory is that about the classical theory, and another theory is about the theory which involves the formation of the potassium ions which inside the cell, or the accumulation of the potassium ions. So here you have shown here in 2 points. One is day, another is night. In the daytime, what happens is that the potassium ions accumulate inside the guard cells, and there it causes turgidity and the opening of the stomata. In the night, usually there is a flux, and so there is the exoosmosis, and usually the guard cell closes. We will discuss in the next class. Thank you very much. A short of time, in the next class